Hello, my brothers and sisters. How are you guys doing? I hope everyone is fine. So, the people in Indonesia, that is Indonesians, are protesting high inflation in the country and they are asking the government to increase the minimum wage. You know, after the lockdowns that took place, a lot of countries are now facing high inflation. Even us in Thailand, every single thing has either increased in price or reduced in quantity. So those manufacturers who did not want to increase their prices reduce the quantity of the items. And the other ones who didn't want to reduce the quantity of the items they sell increase the prices. That is what we are all facing all over the world. And Africa is even the worst. My poor mom calls me all the time to talk about this. How she can hardly afford foodstuffs in the market. This is a very, very serious issue. So, Indonesians couldn't take it anymore. And they thought it out the best way for the authorities to hear their voices was to go on the street. So, the street they went and they protest. So, before we continue with this conversation and before I let you into my take on the protest in Indonesia, watch this video.
Thousands of people have been taking to the streets of Indonesia's biggest cities. There's widespread anger and despair. How to cope with soaring inflation, afford a meal, pay for fuel. The demonstrators are demanding another increase in the minimum wage for next year. Trade unions warn the protests could continue until December and could include strikes.
Fuel price hikes make us scream. That's the message students here in the province of Aceh want to send to their government. All across Indonesia, labor unions and students staged protests against higher fuel prices, even occupying the regional parliament in Aceh.
It's a huge burden. It would normally cost €1.40 to use public transport for the whole day. Now it's only good for a one-way trip to school. Many of our parents catch fish for a living and depend on cheap fuel prices.
If the fuel prices stay high, the price of groceries will go up too. People's income is still very low, so we demand the government to reverse their decision.
The Indonesian government has artificially kept fuel prices low for decades. The recent hike, the first in 8 years, raised the price of gasoline by about 30%. The government argues it had no choice. They say the cost of state has already tripled this year, driven by soaring global energy prices. Now ordinary people will have to deal with the consequences.
Indonesians are protesting. They are saying that things are very, very expensive nowadays, and their salaries can hardly even meet up with this price increase. And so they want the government to increase the minimum wage. You know, my brothers and sisters, like we have always said on this show, price increase affects the poor man more than the rich. The rich can always afford whatever they want, but the poor people are the ones who suffer the most. most of the poor people depend on their wages or salaries. And when things are this expensive, whereby salaries have not been increased, then there will be a problem, because these common people who only depend on their salaries can no longer afford daily things. And you will expect the government to be monitoring this situation closely and make sure that it fixes the problem before people even go onto the street. Because I'm sure the government knows about this price increase. They know about this inflation. And they also know about the salaries of people. So why have they not fixed the problem before people even thought of going onto the street? Most of the times, they want the people to react before they do something. Now, people went onto the street to protest because they couldn't take it anymore. So there is protests almost all over the world. Either people are protesting political change, or they are protesting high inflation. In some other countries, they are protesting corruption and embezzlement. This is serious. So, all we on this show can say is that the people of Indonesia have our full support. They have the right to protest peacefully, because protesting is their human right. Civil disobedience is their human right. So they have the right to exercise that. And we also hope that the government of Indonesia will look into this matter and resolve it as quickly as possible. Because if they do not, it might degenerate into something more disastrous. Remember, a stitch in time saves 9. So, good luck to you guys in Indonesia. Good luck to our Indonesian brothers and sisters for really looking out for themselves and fighting for what they believe they deserve. Good luck, and keep fighting until you get what you deserve. Do not relent your effort. And to you guys out there, how has this high inflation affected your lives? How has it affected your neighborhood or your community? Please share your experiences with us in the comment section below. And one more thing, if you came across any particular story on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, or even on TikTok, and you thought it worth sharing with the rest of the world, please send the link to us. We shall talk about it on this show. And you can also be a loyal fan by supporting the show with $1 or more through our Patreon or PayPal account. You have no idea how far this $1 that you donated would take us. And we shall forever be very, very grateful. So thank you very much and see you in the next one.